All right, my friends, welcome back. My name is Alocasias Noir with Noir Leaf Collective. And today I'm pretty excited because I want to walk through with you guys, and I want to make a DIY easy cloner, but I'm going to be using this for my Alocasias. So if you've never seen anybody do an easy cloner, a DIY tutorial, or specifically for their Alocasias, then you come to the right place. So follow along and let's see how this turns out. All right, my friends. So first of all, let's go through some of the materials we're going to be using today. We have a pump for our air stones. This is something I got off of Temu. It was under $20 and it has 4 lines. It's got a single control and a 120 volt plug-in, so pretty easy to use. You can't really mess it up. This is not a submergible pump. This is going to be set on the outside of our cloning tub, which is this right here. I picked this up from Home Depot. This was $2.50, and this is just a 6-quart little tote. Nothing special about it, right? They had the clears and they had the black totes, and I chose to go with the black just so the algae buildup doesn't build up, as this is going to sit in our cabinet where there's a lot of light and heat. So that's the perfect combination for algae to get produced, and we don't want that. So the black tote is gonna go a long way with that. Okay. So along with this, we also ordered some of these. These are 2-inch, and these are 2-inch little net pods, as you can see there. Maybe there we go. Little 2-inch net pods. And now that I've switched over to mainly pumice, not pumice, but pond and lava rock, and also clay leca. I've switched over to leca and moss and pond. So whatever it is that we're going to be transplanting, we're going to be transplanting them into here. And this is going to be sitting inside of our DIY little cloner. Okay. So another item that we picked up, of course, you got the weather seal. This is going to run on the inside strip all along right here on the edge, just to prevent any leakage. And of course, we got our hole saw with our 2-inch bit, right? We got our hole saw here with our 2-inch bit. And this is gonna help us make the holes in our lid. All right, after we get all that done and installed, we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna use our pH down, and we're gonna use regular tap water with some rooting drops. And we're also going to use a water conditioner. And I have my pH meter that we're going to test. And that's basically all I'm going to run for a couple weeks until the plants get acclimated to this. And then we'll switch over to giving them some fertilizer. All right, so without further ado, let's get it going. So step number 1, we're going to go ahead and we're going to line this edge with our seal here. Now this is 3/16, and I picked something that was very thin, because pretty much I just want to line it. I really don't want to have such a huge gap, and this might be a little sloppy. Let me grab a pair of scissors real quick. I'm back, and don't tell the boss I got the kitchen scissors. All right, guys. So what we're going to do first is we are going, let's see. So we have our little clips here. Just want to see how this is going to fit. Make sure nothing gets in the way, and it does not. Perfect. So this should be pretty simple. So I'm gonna start about 1/4 of the way there, And to get this to turn, I am going to cut a V. And when you cut your V, this gets it to turn rather nicely, as you can see there. When you cut a V, it basically creates a 90-degree angle. And make sure when you're pulling this, you pull it nice and tight so that it doesn't bubble up on you. And we have another V coming up here. This is, I used to make these little cloners back in the day when I was growing other items, other household goods. So these are always fun to make, and they're very inexpensive to make. So if you've never made one, I suggest go ahead and try one. All right, let me go ahead and pull this because it just kind of gets in our way here. This is not double-sided, so this is just gonna sit nice and flush there. Pull this off. All right, let's go ahead and cut ourselves another V here. And if you happen to cut all the way through like this and it separates, no problem. But when you create two 45 angles and you put them together, that's going to give you that 90-degree angle. So I know some people aren't as picky, but if you could get it nice and neat, then why not? All right, one more cut. You can always go ahead and pre-measure this and mark it out and do it pretty all like that, but we're giving this to you guys live and direct here, so no time for that. All right, my friends, so let me go ahead and cut this here to finish. Perfect. Ta-da. All right, so we have our edge nice and lined up with our weather seal, and the weather seal, all it is, it's going to do is to prevent water from splashing out. So once you seal it, right, this thing tips over, or when the bubbles are bubbling in there, nothing's going to come out because of that weather seal. And you can feel that it's nice and secure. All right, so you might need to cut some of this off here. Before you move on to any other step, just make sure you get a nice good seal. Make sure everything's nice and pressed down, and eventually this will get smashed down. All right, perfect. All right, my friends. So now let's go ahead and move this out of the way. So right now I have a couple from one of my previous videos. We have the Black Velvet Gold and the Lauterbachana Aria, and potentially a Cuprea, a pink Cuprea, and potentially a Wentii Aria that are going to be going in here, as their roots are already developed, but now we want them to develop big roots so that we can go ahead and transplant them into the the pond or their mother pot for their final size. All right, let me go ahead and throw this away real quick. All right, my friends, we are back. And so our next step is going to be to lay out these holes. Now these are 2-inch net pods, and I have here a 2-inch hole saw. So you want to make sure that your hole saw doesn't bounce around, because where you're going to run into issues where the holes are too big and these net pods are just going to slip right through. So these are a bit tapered. I don't know if you can see that there. These are a bit tapered. So if you go with 1.25 inches, that's going to give you a fail-safe fit. But I'm going with 2-inch because I also have some 2-inch neoprene discs that I had ordered that are going to be able to take in spot of the spaces where I do not have any net pods going in. So let's look at our placement here. And I am going to be drilling this from the underside, the side that nobody sees, because I want it to look nice and pretty. So basically there we can see that this is kind of what it's going to be looking like here. And you can play around with the spacing if you like. I definitely like these here in the middle. And these I might just move over to the edge here like this. All right, my friends. And then once you kind of look at it and you like your spacing there, then feel free to go ahead and grab your Sharpie. Here we have our Milwaukee Sharpie. And you're just gonna give it a light little, just a little trace. And you can make this as pretty as you want. Honestly, doesn't really matter. All right. So these DIY projects are always fun to do. Like, you know, who knows? I may use it, I may not. The cool thing is we'll have it if we decide we want to use it. But I've always wondered why nobody's done a cloner to grow their roots in their alocasias to convert them into mother plants, since I've known that hydroponics is a super fast way to grow roots, and cloners have always been very valuable to me, and I have always seen amazing root growth with them. So I was like, why not? Let's go ahead and do it. All right, my friends, we have our whole layout here. So now all you want to do, I'm actually going to drill over this, because if I punches through, I don't want it punching it through and hitting my counter. Let's go ahead and start with the middle holes. All right, we are done with this part. Let me go ahead and now, if you want, you can always get some sanding paper and kind of sand all of this down and get it nice and pretty. I'm not too worried about it. So what we are going to do though is take our knife and just kind of scrape the edge, and let's go ahead and pop in our net pods. 1, 2. And my GoPro is actually waterproof because I have the whole waterproof case for it. So I might go ahead and set it up inside so I could get some video to show you guys how it runs. And There we go. Net pods are installed. So we have a 6-chamber cloner. Okay. Now, the roots in here, they develop so fast because you're using a high combination of oxygen and water, fertilizer, whatever you're deciding to put into there initially. So the plants have this constant exchange. So let's go ahead and open up our pump here, and I can show you guys what's in there and how we're going to set that up. Let me go ahead and put this here. And you could just take a little knife, just kind of scrape all this good stuff off if you want. As I was saying, it really doesn't matter. Later on, if some of it falls in the water, you know, you have to do water changes anyways. Now, some people do aeroponic style where they put a submergible pump inside and it creates a fine mist using like a fogging tip. But then you run into issues of the water heating up. And when the water heats up, then that causes an environment for slime or any dead roots to kind of fester. And I've never been a fan of putting the pump inside. So I prefer to keep my pump on the outside. And then you don't worry about any of those temperature issues. All right, so all we're doing is taking a knife, cleaning up these edges. Like I said, you could take as much time as you need doing this, but I'm just doing it for the sake of the video quickly, and maybe later I'll clean it up some more, or maybe not. All right, my friends, that's about as clean as that's gonna get. Let me go ahead and rinse this out, and I'll get back to you guys so we can set up the pump. All right, my friends, we are back, and now we are going to open up our pump here, and I want to show you guys what's in here, and we're going to go ahead and set it up together. So I went with a 4-line air pump, and as you can see there's four outlets, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and it's just a simple turn knob. And what came in the box is 4 lines, 4 air stones. These are pretty big air stones as well, which is nice because, you know, more air stone, more bubbles. Well, we got 4 of these and some little directions and some information regarding on the specs of the pump. But the specs of the pump do not matter as much as long as, you know, it's putting out enough power. This is 8 watts, and I think it's like 300 GHP, so, or 350. So basically what we're going to be doing, oh, and I forgot about these backflow valves. Now these backflow valves, they help push the air through and make sure that the water doesn't come back into the pump to ruin it. So this is a pretty nice kit. They did have this in a single, a double, and 4-line. The reason why I got the 4-line is because later, if in the future, if I want to create another one of these little totes, I can have 2 lines running here and 2 lines running to the other tote. So I'm already thinking ahead, and that's why I went with the 4 lines. All right, so basically what you do is we're gonna do this one at a time. So you have your pump here, and this is gonna be sitting inside my cabinet right next to this, which is also gonna be sitting in my cabinet. Let's go ahead and do one of these at the same time. Now, one of the bad things about having a 4-line is you do have to connect all 4 lines, as you can't shut these off individually. There are some systems where you can do that, but it's okay because I plan on running all 4 lines anyways. All that's going to do is it's going to create more bubbles, and the more bubbles means more oxygen into the water. So I'll show you guys a close-up once we get this all going. So basically you want to run your line, and you are going to have to make a cut to install this backflow valve. So right here, I'm just going to go about 4 inches out. And I'm just using my blade to measure. Now that this does have, I'm not sure if you guys can see this, hopefully it'll focus on here, but it does have a little symbol that says direction. Okay, so the direction of the air is going this way. So you want to make sure you install that the right direction. So the white tip, it's gonna come in here. And you just want to make sure to squeeze that all the way in, push it all the way in until it's nice and secure. Okay, and then you're going to get the remainder of your valve, and you're going to attach it to this end here. And I should be trying to get a close-up for you guys. I'll make sure to get a picture and post this. All right, so this is what it's going to look like here. Okay, let's see if you guys can see this right here. Right now, for the purpose of, normally I would cut these to length, but I'm just gonna go ahead, I'll leave these long, and then I'll tape everything together. And your air stone is just gonna pop on this end here, and this is just going to sit inside. Okay, so we're gonna do that 4 more times, and right now when I do that, I'll fill it up with some water, turn on the pump, and then we'll get a close-up so you guys can see how it oxygenates the water. So we finished installing all the lines, so here goes our lines, and this is what it looks like on the inside. So we got our 4 air stones. I didn't want it to tilt over, but that's okay. So basically there are 4 air stones in here, and maybe this way, no. All right, so what we're gonna go ahead and do is I want to demonstrate what this looks like. So we're gonna go ahead and add some water to this, and I'll bring the camera at a different angle so you guys can get a direct view of what it looks like. All right, give me a second so I can put in some water. So we have our water in, I have the pump on, and right now I have it on high. Let me turn it down. So just imagine the plants, each of the plants that are going to be in here, right? And let's go ahead and move this out of the way. All right, so here are our net pods, and the water, I only filled it up to about halfway, but that might be a little too much. Now what I want to show you guys are these bubbles. So let's go ahead and put it on level 1, level 2, level 3. We're half power here, and this is full power. So what's happening is the air stones, the pump runs air through the line, and the line runs to the air stone, and the air stone creates a diffused air bubble. Now you might be able to see it on film or maybe not, but there's a fine mist when the bubbles pop at the top of the water. It kind of like volcanoes out, and what's going to happen, that's going to splash onto these net pods, which is going to create, so the roots don't stay inside. They can, because this is aerated now, but initially the roots stay in the net pods, and it's getting hit by those micro bubbles that contain the oxygen and either water or rooting drops or full-on fertilizer. And this is kind of the setup right here. Now I am thinking that I might just drill the holes through so that this lid is able to sit 100% capped and closed off, because right now one side clips and the other side really doesn't. But as you can see, like, it's a very clean setup. There's still water running through here. I'm pretty sure, I'm not sure if you guys could see that there. Let me go ahead and drop this down a little bit more. And if you guys can go ahead and hear the bubbles, let me set this mic a little bit closer here. So One more times. Go ahead, open it up. You see the net pods. Maybe you can see the net pods are wet here. That's because the micro bubbles are splashing on there. And with our little weather stripping here, then we shouldn't have any leakage. Another thing you can do is drill holes through here so that these air stones are nice and straight, and then all you got to do is a hot glue gun or some super glue or something like that, which is what I probably will just end up doing. But for me, this is a little too much water. I kind of want to sit a couple inches underneath the net pods, because right now the net pods are almost flush to the water, and this is 6 liters, so it's almost a gallon of water in here at the moment. So that's your DIY little home cloner using one of these Home Depot shoe boxes, and it's a pretty cool setup. And as I was saying, if you've never done one of these cloners, I highly recommend that you at least give it a try. And if you don't want to grow any rare tropicals in here, then it's good for veggies. It's strawberry season, tomato season, or whatnot. As you can see, I went ahead and drilled the holes through here, and all I'm going to do is with the hot glue gun secure this hosing here. And so I have 4 air stones, 2 in each corners, and with this amount of water you can see that it's splashing up to here, which means that the pods are going to be they're gonna get enough fluid like that. So now that I drilled the hoses instead of running them over the tops, you can hear 1 snap, 2 snaps. So now we have a nice tight secure fit, and no water is going to escape from here, and this is nice and clean, and everything's looking beautiful. These kind of do wiggle around, but that's totally fine. What I can always do is put a bead of hot glue there, and that'll give them more of a snug fit, but honestly it doesn't bother me much, so I probably won't mess with it. Or you can always put a bead of glue down in here to kind of act like a little buffer as well, a little cushion. All right, so being that this is what we're going to be using, let's go ahead and give it our nutrients. Now I am using this right here, root drops. Okay, this says to add 2 drops to 1 cup of water, or for 1 full dropper to 1 quart of water. So I'm just going to add 1 full dropper. We have 3 quarts of water, but 1 dropper's fine. And I'm just using my regular tap water. Being that this is getting bubbled, you really do not need a water conditioner, because the chlorine is going to go ahead and evaporate off of that. But what I do need, and I already know that my pH sits high, add a little bit of pH down, and we want to shoot for anything between 5.8 and 6.5. And that's about good for me. We have 5.8.9. Perfect. So this is pH balanced now at the target rate where I want. And now we can go ahead and take this over to the cabinet and see how we can fit it in there. Awesome. Let's go to the cabinet, guys. All right, my friends, and welcome to my beautiful little cabinet here. As you can see, this acrylic little chamber that I have here is no longer being used, so we're gonna move that Probably put these bigger plants over here and put my little cloner over here, or maybe just put it over here off to the side. So give me a second and I'll go ahead and get that done. I'll probably run this part and fast forward in the edit, so have some patience with me. Right, so if you guys can see over here in the back, I just wrapped them around without kinking the hoses. I have my pump here, and I'm going, let me shut this off real quick because it is making me super hot and humid. What I am going to do is, I have this grommet with the same hole saw that you guys saw in the video. I installed one in my cabinet, so I am going to run this through here. Here, my friends. All right. So that's plugged in. I'll be pushing this back here. Let's get this back in its spot here. And let's take a look. Ta-da! So the cloner is nice and ready to go. Everything's waterproof here. Beautiful. That is out of the way, and this is actually, this is the Lauterbachia Albo, Aurea, and this is going to come out of this pot and go into here, but you can see her roots already starting to make her way down. Lauterbachia Aurea will be going in there, and we have our Black Velvet Gold, beautiful Black Velvet Gold. Look at her roots already starting to make her way out here. So she will be getting potted into there. And I'm curious to see if this would fit. Nope, sure don't. Nope, that's gonna fall in there. So we definitely have to come back and install these in there. And I have this True Pink, I don't know if you guys can see that, True Pink Cuprea. This plant is so sensitive, like I've had to have it in its own dome because it's so sensitive, but eventually that'll go there. And we have this, this is a Wentii Aurea, and that will go in there. And this Wentii Aurea, this is a pink Albo Wentii. This is the expensive version of this plant, and like, look at this beautiful plant, you guys. I know the highlights are super high, but super beautiful plant. And I mean, just look at the roots on this thing, just crazy. So this is the mother plant, pink Wentii Albo, and this is a Wentii Aurea. All right, my friends, so I'll go ahead and get another video once I have my plants in there, but for now we're gonna go ahead and just stop it here. And I think what I'm going to do is get a clear tote and use that as a cover as well, and that should do it. So let's go ahead and put some of these babies in. This is my yellow Maryland Monstera that's on recovery, but she's doing pretty awesome. I left her outside on the balcony and she got really burnt, but her roots are exploding, so that's really good. Yellow Maryland, Wentii. This is an Anthurium Rehab. This is my pink chat. This is Longiloba Pinkback, Corm. This is Silver Dragon Albo. And we have an Anthurium Crystallium. So it's kind of everything that I have going on here. All right, guys, so thanks for watching. Stay tuned on the update. I'll go ahead and post the update before I post this video so we can see it all fully functioning and going. All right. Oh yeah, let's not forget to turn on our, so we have our humidifier here and it's all controlled through the app. I could turn it on 40 and it's going to go off because our target is 60% humidity. I have all my lights here, my hygrometer, and everything's telling me the readings. I can also shut everything off at the same time. Grow lights off, grow lights on. Pretty awesome, you guys. Govee got full control. All right, my friends, so we have some leca and we have our pond substrate, and we are on our continuation with our cloner here. Now I have already selected, as I mentioned yesterday, we have our Lauterbachia aurea, we have our Alocasia yellow or gold aurea. Oh, that's a black velvet aurea, sorry. We have our Jacqueline tenderosa aurea. Okay, we have our pink Amazonica poly. It's gonna be one of the subjects. We're gonna be using this Regal Shield pup that I have, Regal Shield Albo. Beautiful colors on this thing. And the last one we are also going to be moving over is this Longiloba Purple Vein. Okay, so these are all of our subjects that are going to be going into the Easy Cloner. Now, I did buy these neoprene discs from Amazon, but what I found was that Alocasias in the stem, they thicken up, so it's not going to work because the hole here, unless if I make the hole bigger, the disc fits perfectly into the 2-inch. These are 2-inch discs, but I'm worried that the stem is going to thicken and be restricted. So that's why we're just going to go with our net pods. Okay. And initially I'm going just to fill to the first line here. See that first line there on the bottom right here? We're going to fill that with leca as it's chunkier. And then we're going to top it off with the pond when we transfer our babies over. Okay. So right now, all I'm going to do is go ahead and do that, and then I'll get a close-up shot for you guys. All right, so we have our bubblers on. I don't know if you guys can see it from that angle, but it is on and it is rocking and rolling. Maybe I need to do this and then tilt it down like this. Sorry, my friends, I'm just trying to find a good angle for you guys about stairs. Can you guys see those bubbles? Yep. All right, my friends, so we're gonna go ahead and start with our first net pod, and I've already misplaced it. Oh my god, that's funny. I'm notorious for doing that. It's okay. We got plenty of net pods. I'll just have to go grab another one. All right. So as I mentioned, we're gonna go ahead and fill the bottom half with leca. I really just want, I don't know if you guys could see that there. Okay, very light amount of leca in the pod. And then we're gonna go ahead and take All right, my friends, we're starting with our black velvet gold. We have a new leaf unfurling, and as you can see, there's already a couple of nice roots coming out here. So this is definitely a good subject to start with. And we're just gently going to pull this up as not to rip any roots here. Look at that root development. It's not the best angle for you guys, but check out those roots there already. So we're just gonna go ahead, stick her in the net pod here. And you may ask yourself, like, why transfer it to the net pod when she already has good roots going? Because this is an experiment, and we're trying to experiment and see how this DIY cloner does with Alocasias. All right, so she's going in there, and these plants have already been out of their dome for quite some time now, so they're definitely acclimated to the conditions here in my grow cabinet, so I don't need to dome them, so that's a plus. And the cool thing with pond, it's just reusable. All right, there goes one. Next, I'm going to do these easy transfers of Lauterbachia aurea. And let's get our net pod once again. And I was mentioning to you guys, I just want a very thin layer of leca. If you guys can see, it just goes to this bottom line here. Leca is very useful because it'll help wick up the water to the roots. So let's go ahead and pull her out gently. Wow, the roots are doing amazing in this pond. Just like, look at that right there. There we go. Look at those roots. Beautiful. So these are super easy transfers here, which I like. And I switched over to leca and pond because I actually was having a lot of root rot issues. I like to overwater my plants. I like to water my plants almost on a daily basis, so this substrate really lets the roots and everything breathe. You can water every day and it's not going to hurt your plants. So let's go ahead and move her here. See this up. I found my other net pod. It was in the bag here. All right. Getting our little pods ready. This is so much fun, you guys. Like, I love doing this kind of stuff, DIY, and I experiment with my plants a lot. Unfortunately, I've had some casualties, some expensive casualties, so you learn from your experiences, but if you never try anything different, then you stay stuck doing the same thing, and that's okay. Like, if it works for you, it works for you, but I get tired of the same thing all the time, so. All right, let's go ahead and we're gonna do this one, our Tenderosa. And I really want to be very gentle with this one because, let's move this out of the way here. I can feel that her root system is not very developed, so I want to be very gentle. And she has the moss around. Oh no, that looked like a root. Yeah, that was a root, you guys. Damn it. It's okay. I literally just yanked off one of her good roots. Alright, so as you can see, here's our Tandurosa with a little bit of a root ball there. And we're just gonna go ahead and plop her in. Let me move this out of the way here and backfill. And beautiful, and there she goes. Let's go ahead and pop her in here. See, hope that doesn't fall through. All right. Next, we are going to do this Longiloba purple vein. She is in some. This is fluval stratum and perlite, and I'm just going to go ahead and dispose of this. I do have my little recyclable trash can here next to my bed. What a cool surprise. So she actually has corm growing at the moment. She has a couple of corms growing, so trying to massage most of the substrate off. And since fluval stratum is okay to be in the water, now I don't know if you guys can see that clearly, but she has a corm coming here, and that's a nice root system there. But we want more growth, so we're just gonna go ahead and plop her in here. Spread those roots out. And once again, just backfill. Ta-da! Purple vein, Longiloba. All right, my friends. So we have two more. And these are bigger ones, so I chose to put the bigger ones towards the back. This is my Regal Shield Albo, and I mean, just like, look at those beautiful colors, you know. So this is corm from my mother plant. This was the biggest corm out of the bunch, and I actually gave away 5 corms from her mother. So Regal Shields are very vigorous growers. And as you'll see right now, her root system is just amazing. And there goes her roots. Beautiful, beautiful roots. Seems like there was a little bit of, might have been a little bit of rottage going on, but Doesn't seem like too much. Mostly just on the finer capillary veins or roots, but the main roots are nice and thick and solid. So, and you can see how this is the corm. So nice. All right, let's put in. You know what? I'm gonna, since this is a bigger corm and I'm not worried about her falling through, I'm just gonna go ahead and stick her in here like this, and then add pon around it. Just go ahead and stick with what we've been doing. Very small layer of leca. And let's go ahead and backfill her. All right, nice and beautiful there. Let's go ahead and pop her in here. All right, and we have one more. So I hope this video like motivates you guys to, try something different, and you only learn by trying different things. So that's the whole purpose of this video. Now this is our pink poly, and just look at her roots, and she has beautiful color, beautiful root ball. Like, you might be saying like, what are you doing? But I don't know, I just want to try something different. And she is in a combination of pon and tree fern fiber, the grower that I bought her from. I actually have a video, Dashing Botanicals, Marissa, and she's super amazing, and she has some beautiful plants. So I know this plant will not fall far from the tree in that aspect. All right. So there we go. And we're just gonna go ahead and plop her into that last cell over there. All right, my friends. So hopefully this brings you guys some more clarity on what this is going to look like. And for the time being, I'm just gonna keep them there. I want to show you guys what it looks like on the bottom, and then maybe in a week, there you go. So no roots coming out of the bottom yet, right? You guys see that? And hopefully in a week here, I'll get another update and we will see some magic happen together. So right on, you guys. Thank you guys for watching. There's some of these. Nice and easy. All right, my friends, real quick, I just wanted to show you guys, as the last part, I added hot glue, not on the pods because we can go ahead and move the pods, but I just added it around the edge to create a better seal. And so far everything's looking good. I'm liking it. Ta-da! Everything fits here nice and snug. And there goes our setup, you guys. Then we have our mothers over here on this cabinet. They're doing amazing. They're just growing like crazy. But I'm excited for this cloner. See what happens. Stay tuned. All right, my friends, so I am Allocation Noir with Noir Leaf Collective, and hopefully this video has been very informative. Like, let me be your guinea pig, and we're gonna try this out together, and I can't wait to post you guys on, you know, the update. Right now I'm gonna turn on my humidifier and I'll set the humidity. I'm actually gonna bump it up really high since we just messed with these plants. We wanna give them a little bit of extra humidity. At the moment, everything else that I have going on is doing really great. I have, if you guys can see all of these right here, these are the TCs that I got from Moose Roots on my last video, and they're all doing amazing. I have some corms, and I also have my pink cuprea, which I wanted to add to this, but she's super sensitive, and I think it's just gonna be saved as this is my most expensive plant, you guys. And look at this thing. I got this as a fresh import, so very little roots on her. And if you guys could see that, like, so very high VAR. She's got 2 leaves. I got her in the same pond setup with the wick, and I see very little fine roots. So we keep her in her own little dome. She's happy there until she sprouts some thicker roots and gets a little bit stronger. So for the time being that this is my most expensive plant in my collection, I really don't want to mess with her too much. And what else? Oh, I did want to show this to you guys. Maybe I'll do a little video later on it, but this is my DIY CO2 generator. And as you can see, those bubbles that are coming out on the clear bottle, that's the CO2 being produced, and then it releases out. And all it is sugar and yeast. So very, very easy, very simple DIY project that anybody can do, and it's just going to boost and add more to your growing cabinet. So all right, guys, well, that's all I got for you guys. Thank you guys for joining along. Make sure you go through and check out my other videos, and if you haven't yet, like and subscribe. It really helps me out, and hopefully I get to post more stuff like this. And if for some reason this doesn't work out, it's totally fine, and we'll just go back to doing the little containers. But I have high faith in myself and in this, that this is going to work out amazing. So, and we hope to see some amazing growth in a week, so stay tuned for that. Have a good weekend, you guys, and thank you so much.